back to the garage. So today is kind of unique. My last Impala video, or one of the last ones you saw, was my for sale video. And first off, big thanks to everybody that reached out, whether you showed interest, whether you wished me well, whether you hated the idea of me selling this car. I appreciate all the comments, all the watching over the years. It's been fun. It for sure has, and I hope you guys, whether you watch something that I did, just one video, this video, or anything, it helped you learn something and maybe even helped you out of a bind here and there. I know I had a lot of videos do that for me on this car. So what we're going to do tonight is a little show and tell. What's cool about this is I'm going to guess that one thing I have on this table here, if you're an Impala guy, a Caprice guy, you don't know exists, you don't know it's a thing, or maybe even you might have it, or you wish you did, because this is all like you've known if you followed this project. My dad bought this car new in '96, and it kind of came with everything that would come with a new car, and my dad saved 99.9% of it. Little history on the car: it was purchased in September of '96, a late purchase, a later build, and it was actually, I feel like my dad told me it was a Columbus, Ohio, at a dealership there, and then from there this says Bryan, Ohio. I don't even know where that is, but he basically went to his local Chevy dealer, said, hey, they have them down here for this much. Do I have to go down there and pick this car up, or can you get it for me? They got it for him, drove it up to where we live near Akron, and there it is. So I wanted to show you, though, this stuff. So I'm going to grab the camera and kind of go down the line and show you this stuff. Got some pretty neat stuff, and if you have this stuff, kudos to you, because you've kept some really unique things. And if you don't, some of this I don't know if you're ever going to find again. So it's, as much as I don't want to say, like, be jealous or something, this stuff's pretty cool. And future owner of my Impala here is, in my opinion, getting a gold mine, because I love stuff like this. This is so fun. If I buy any car, used, new, anything, my Corvette I bought, it didn't have any of this stuff, and it's kind of a bummer, because you know it's somewhere, or was somewhere at some point. So let's get going here. So let's start off with the basic here, and probably the one thing, if any of you have kept anything, it's the window sticker. This, as you can see here, 1996 Impala SS, pretty decent fuel mileage there. Mine does have the preferred equipment group, which I think most of them did. And I love these little details. Final assembly, Arlington, Texas. This is where it was delivered to the dealership, and then, like I said, it went from there to dealership near Akron here. Total out the door, $25,985. Put that in the inflation calculator. You get pretty close to a decent V8 four-door sedan at today's money. So even though that seems cheap, back then that was a pretty decent amount of money. And that's the window sticker there. Nothing on the back, but it's a neat one for sure. It's got all the little infos on there. Catalytic converters. Here's your Impala SS package. Now, let's throw this out there just for fun. I don't see anywhere on here the word Caprice. And I am impartial. You get a Caprice with the right options, the right packages, it's going to run pretty darn close to this car. But it doesn't say Caprice up here. But it's funny, it does say Impala SS package includes. So some of this is the same. I love, though, it does say cup holders. They didn't seem to take that off from the other ones. Multiple cup holders, which is where the floor shift went. Pretty funny there. And then they do say leather 45 seat with full floor console. Doesn't really say, if I'm missing it, floor shifter. But that's the window sticker, and that's going to go with the car here. Another similarly related piece. This is, it's going to glare on there, but I'll move it around here. This is the infamous seat tag. If you see those lines, this is basically sandwiched between your seat foam and the seat springs. Takes a little bit of wiggling to get it out in one piece. I had some tears and things like that. And some of these you take out there just shredded, but you got the WX3 there. Right about there where that hole is, mine says about July 20 something of 96. So it was built around July-ish. That's the Impala there. Carpet gray. I love that. And this goes with the car as well. It's got the VIN. Another little piece to verify these. And I think reminds me of the 1967 Corvette in Up tank sticker that they shoved under the tank and helps verify these cars, because people do clone them in that, but eventually we're going to get to the point where these could be worth something well documented in that. So this is a good piece to have if you don't have it out of your seat. I highly recommend you take the seat out before you do this, because it was tricky when I did the carpet. That's when I got this out, and you could leave it, but it is just cool because really right now it could get lost and that's it, and then you never have it again. So if it's under the seat, that's cool. Heck, if you're even crazy, you could do what I did and have it laminated to keep it safe, and then stick it somewhere in the car, and it's probably going to be fine. But I keep pretty good records too, so I'm not worried about that. Another piece. This was stuck near the window, I believe, when we got the car. Just your little consumer information. Emissions. One of my favorite things, which you don't see this too much anymore, U.S. Canadian parts, 92% of them. Pretty cool. Engine parts, transmission parts, USA. Very American built car, we'll say. Built in Texas, and a lot of parts from here too. Alright, this one, my Camaro actually had a very similar picture. Sorry, I'm bumping the camera here. We got a notice. Wheel locks have been installed from the factory, which they are still on the car. This, though, is a pretty common GM thing. That, to me, looks like on there. Let me get that up here a little bit so you can see. That looks like a Pontiac wheel, like an old Trans Am wheel or something like that from the 80s. But, that sidewall is pretty big, but it does look like a wider tire. Instructions, you've got the this was in there in a plastic bag, and then you do have the codes that came with these, the Amcor wheel locks. So my 98 Camaro SS had a very similar thing. This is the key code, which basically they give you one, and the lug nut has a just some little notches on it, and these match the notches. These aren't the most secure of wheel locks. I didn't have this card with my Camaro. I take it back. I might have had the card, but I didn't have a key. So when I first got my Camaro, I got a flat, and I could not get the wheel off. So basically, I hammered on a socket that was smaller than this and was able to get it off of there. And then from there, I bought two keys and that. So my dad did buy an extra key, and that's the ID code and all that there that goes with that. So nice little piece that is, if you're looking at these cars, I'm pretty sure all of them came with this. If you don't have that, not the end of the world, but it's cool to have. Okay, let's move over here. This is one of my favorite things we have. So this was mailed to my dad. This thing about Roadside Care and that. I'm not sure if this next thing here got mailed to him or what, but obviously the Impala came with a Chevy bow tie fob. Got buttons there. Even got instructions on the back how to use that. These things don't have the best of range. I've tried new batteries. I've tried all sorts of stuff. They work when you're close to the car, but you get a new car, it'll work from 300 yards away, where this one works about from 3 yards away. So that's your standard key, though, and it does have the old school. The Impala guys and 90s, 80s GM guys got a door key and an ignition key. The ignition key had the pass key too. The chip on the key there, it's basically one of 15, I believe 15 resistors that has to match the one in the car for it to start. So it came with two keys like that, two fobs, two keys, 4 keys, 2 fobs, however you want to say that. But what they did give my dad here is this sweet thing right here, this big key. It says enclosed is your pre-cut courtesy key. So you open this up, and there would have been a this convenient pre-cut courtesy key will operate the door of your new Chevrolet. Carry it in your wallet in case your keys are accidentally locked inside your vehicle. And then it says test your courtesy key. If it doesn't work, call this number. If anybody's bored wants to call that number, see if GM still picks up. So inside there was this. It was hidden right in there. And I had this in my wallet for a number of years, so did my dad. Let me do this with one hand here. There's a little key inside. How cool is that? And you basically, it's a door key. That's it. That doesn't start the car or anything like that. It's got your VIN. It says if you need help, the 1-800-CHEV-USA. And then we even have on the back here, when you call, please have the following information. For emergency use only. Very cool little feature. I'm curious how many of you actually have this one, because how many of these got lost in the mail? They didn't make it. I recall one we had on another GM car. It was like a plastic, almost like a real credit card, and you bent out the emergency key. But this one's a real metal one in there. So that whole setup's going with the car. They sent a letter with it, even like a little membership card there with your VIN. Pretty cool little thing, all in an envelope there. My final piece of show and tell. If you are an old car guy or whatever you want to say, GM keys, this one actually looks like a copy. I have a bunch of keys that are going to go with this car, but inside the spot there where my key ring is, there was something in there called the knockouts. And a knockout is basically this thing right here. It was in there and you knocked it out of the key. And they always said keep your knockouts, and this goes back being, before records were computerized and that, because what you do is there's a little code on this knockout, and you took your knockout to your dealership and you said, hey, I lost my key, here's my code, and they'd give you a key. Now I believe they can look it up via VIN and that, but key knockouts are going with the car as well. So lots of neat stuff that I don't know. I mean, the only thing that I don't have out here is the factory, not factory, but the dealership brochure. But I have that too, and that didn't really come with the car. I do have the owner's manual. I have all that stuff, but this is that stuff that just gets lost, and I just love this stuff. It's so fun. Funny story. We saw it was a real ZR1 Corvette, like a 92, 91. I forget what year, at Mecum in Indiana just recently, and I mean, it wasn't even dealer prepped. It still had the stickers on the roof, the tires. I mean, everything still had stickers on it, to the point there was like labels on there that I was just like, somebody needs to catalog and document these, because you're never gonna see this again. I want to say it went for like 50 grand, something like that, but I mean, you're looking at these things like this should never come off this car, like the protector on the glass roof and stuff like that. So the Impala has been in the garage for a little while, though, getting it ready to sell here. It's much bigger than the Corvette, that is for sure. So, all right, well, thank you for taking this little tour with me on the ephemera, the little bits and all that. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time. There's definitely going to be a little more on this, so don't sign off yet. I promise. I got a few more tricks up my sleeve with the Impala here before it's gone for good. So thanks a lot. See you next time. Have a good day.